Okay, so welcome back. In the previous episode, we have fixed this layout and this looks pretty cool. And this automatically links to the blog post, but also inside of the blog post, we want to display other blog posts and not with this design, but with our new design. And then we also only want to display blog posts that have the category homemade or fruits, because otherwise it wouldn't be related. So let's just go in our single post template, because we need to change the template, not the blog post itself, but the template for all of our blog posts, which is called blog post template. It's a single one, that's important. Comment, click on that one. So now we will go to the Elementor editor. Okay, so if you scroll down, you will see these related articles, and we also need to select the custom loop over here. But what we can also do is just copy what we already have on the home. So what about we just delete this whole part because we don't need it anymore. Now go to the home page, select the post widget, right click, copy, go to the blog post template, left click on your title, and then right click, paste. And now it's in here. But on this page, we only want to display 3 related blog posts. Okay, so let's just set that up. Scroll down, post per page, 3. Okay, and now we need to tell Elementor what kind of blog posts we want to show here. And again, that's what we do in the query. So now we want to show posts, but we want to show related posts. So that is what you can set up over here. So click on related, and now we need to tell how these blog posts are related to this page. And that is again by term, because categories is part of the terms. So click on term, click categories, and now you can see that it automatically loads in the new blog posts. For this example, you can see that it only displays 2 blog posts. And that is because we don't have enough blog posts on this website yet that have similar tags to the blog post that we are currently on. So that is how you know that it works, because this widget is set up for maximum of 3. So now click on update, go back to your watermelon example, click on refresh, scroll down. So now if you scroll down, we only need to see blog posts that have fruits or homemade in the tags. So scroll down, and as you can see, homemade, homemade, fruits, right? Because this was homemade and fruits. And it only shows 3 blog posts. So if there are more blog posts that have these tags, now it will only show these blog posts at a maximum of 3. So here you can also set up the query to be ascending or descending. So that's the same thing as we did on the home. So now the newest one will be on top. Okay, so this is actually perfect. So now with this same technique, we can super easily create a category page. So if we want to have a page for all of our breakfast posts, we can create that within 1 minute. Okay, let's just do that. So we're going to go back to WordPress. We're going to go to our pages, and let's see what kind of category page we want to create right now. Oh, by the way, this is a spelling error. So let's fix that. Grapes with a P. Update. Let's just start with the breakfast. Okay, so I'm gonna click on edit because there's no Elementor editor yet, because we have to click edit once, and then we need to click on edit with Elementor before that button will show up on the pages overview. So now all we need to do is we need to go to the home page, and we need to copy this whole section. Okay, let's just copy this one because this template is also already in there. Let's go to the breakfast page. By the way, we don't want to show this title, so go to settings again and Elementor full width, because we want the header and the footer to be displayed. Now we will just paste this whole main section because it's the same page. You want a little bit more spacing on these kind of pages, so let's just fix that real quick. Go to this one and put it on 60. And now we also want to have a big H1 title at the top, because that's a better indication that these are only articles with the tag breakfast. Okay, so let's just drag in a heading, very easy, boom, like that, an H1 breakfast articles, big title, pretty nice, maybe a little bit more spacing beneath that text to give it a little bit of white space. So I unlinked the margin, and let's just add 20, for example. That should be good. And now we need to tell the query that we only want to display blog posts that have the tag breakfast. So go to query. You already know what we're going to do. We're not going to go to related because on this page, there's nothing that can be related because this is an empty page. So now we will stay at post, and now we will go to term. And now we need to tell exactly what category we want. So if we type in breakfast here, then it will show breakfast. this is actually all we need to do, because now we're done with this whole page. But there's actually one thing that we need to do, and that is set up the pagination. And that is what this is, because if you have a really big blog and you have not prepared this, then the blog will only display the maximum amount that you've set up here, 6 in this example, but then you cannot go further back. So this is where you set up the pagination. For now, I only have 3 blog posts available on this blog. So for now, I'm going to put this at 2 so we can actually work with pages. Okay, so if you click on pagination, you can click on numbers, previous next, and numbers plus previous next. In my design, I have previous, the numbers, and next. So that is what you can set up right here. Okay, so this is really close. So let's just fix that real quick. Go to style, pagination, and then space between. Space between, that is the space between the actual items. So for some weird reason, they also don't have a slider here to increase the spacing from here to here. So then you have to go into typography, which is actually not perfect to do, but this is the only option that they have. And then increase the line height. So that is actually the line height above and under this text. But this is the only way that I found to fix this issue. Not perfect, but that's what we have to deal with. Okay, so now we also want to change the text because it has added these weird arrows, which I do not like. So scroll down, go to pagination, and here you can set up the text. So the en lagu are those weird things. So I'm just gonna delete that because I don't like that. Previous and next, that should be enough. Also, I want to delete the underline, so you already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to typography, go to decoration, and put that on none, and then it should work. But it doesn't work. So again, let's just leave that for now. I have a potential solution for this in one of the next upcoming episodes. Right now, let's just click on update and let's check the mobile and tablet version. So that looks pretty good. We maybe want a little bit more spacing also on the top here. So maybe 60. Let's just check mobile for now. Let's also increase that. Maybe 60 is too much on mobile, so 40 will be fine. Okay, so let's just click on update. Let's go to our website. This is our website. No, I've not opened the website. And let's click on the breakfast page. And let's see if that works. Okay, breakfast articles, breakfast, pretty cool. But now the maximum amount of posts is 2, which is of course a little bit too little. So I want to set this up at 6 or 8 because otherwise the page will be very long. So for this blog, I'm going to put it at 8. Which is more on the home page, but this is an actual category page, so that is not a weird thing to do, I think. So we're gonna go back to the breakfast page, click on refresh. So now a maximum of 8 blog posts will be displayed on this category page. And now you also know how to do that for this page, and this page. What you just have to do is copy this whole main section, change this title, then go into the query, pretty easy. And the only thing that you have to change here is the category page to fruits, for example. So this is how you create category pages. And that's it for this episode. We're getting pretty far already, so I will see you in the next video. Hey and welcome back. In the last few episodes, we have created this block and then made a duplicate with it with the Elementor Post widget. And now we're going to do the same, but with a smaller version. That is the personal favorites section over here. So this is how it looks right now. My original design, which you have seen before, looks like this. But I realized that this is not a really smart design. Because the title in a lot of blog posts is longer than one line, and then there's almost no room for the excerpt, and there is not an easy feature to only show a small part of the excerpt inside of Elementor. So I changed this design to the design that you see over here. So you just see the title of the blog post and then a read more button. So sometimes when you're designing a website, you will realize that the things that you've designed look cool, but they're not really practical. And this is what I also experienced with my own design. So this is the blog that we're going to create, and it's going to be very easy because it's just a smaller version of what we have designed over here. So before we're going to start, we just have to look at this design and we have to make a few calculations. So how big is this compared to this whole block? Because then we can set up the width of the columns, because this will be one column and then this will be one column with a little bit of inside padding on the left. And you can calculate this with pixels, of course, but I just like to design on the eye because on the final website it just needs to look nice. So I think this whole part is 33% and maybe this is 60. So let's just make it easy for ourselves and pick 30 and then 70 for this column. So this is what I always do before I start working in Elementor. I look at the design and then I try to see the columns that I'm actually creating before I start creating it, and that will make our process easier. Okay, so let's now go to WordPress. I'm here inside of the dashboard. I still have a few tabs open, and one tab that we need to really open is this one. So if you have closed your tab, I'll show you how to get back to it because we need to copy the inside. So we're going to go to template and then go to theme builder. And that part is called a loop. So if we go to loop over here, we can see that this one is this one. So if you click on edit with Elementor, then you are inside of this block. Now we want to create a new block. We want to create a new loop, right? Again, I call these things blocks, but in this plugin it's called loop. Okay, so let's just create a new one. We're going to call it blog post landscape because it's still a landscape post, a horizontal post, right? And it's a smaller one. So blog post landscape small. You know what? I'm going to copy this title, make it easy for myself, paste it over here and change that to small and then create the templates. Now we're going to set up the columns first. Click on X on this one. And now let's just start by copying what we have in our blog post big version. So we're just going to copy this whole main section. So not the individual columns. Going to copy this whole main section, right click, copy, go to the new one, the small one, right click, paste it. Okay, now let's set up the width of the columns. Click on the column over here. Maybe you want to zoom out a little bit if your screen is too small. So click on this one. We're going to put this at 30. Okay, then what do we need? We need a read more button, which is actually a different version than the one that I have over here, which is also not perfect in my design. It's not fully consistent. So we need to copy the read more. We need to change the style a little bit and we need to copy the title. And the title is already in here, so that's good. So if we just delete this one like this and delete the excerpt like this, we only need to style the read more. So let's just do that right now. First, I'm going to delete that underline. So if you go to style, that was in solid border. So we're going to put the border at none because then we don't have a border. And now just change the text color to green. And now we're done because this design looks like this. And now the only thing we need to do is change the title, but it has this margin, so it goes outside of the box. I don't really like that. Let's just first change the size of the H2 to H3 because we want a smaller version. And then I also want to change the top margin because we added this top margin for this post, but this has another item on top of it. So we're going to delete it over here. Okay, and maybe also give the title a little bit of spacing on the bottom. So maybe -5 is a little bit better. This is still perfect because we want the featured image over here. So let's just click on publish now. This is all we need to do actually. So we're going to add conditions to all the blog posts. So click on post, all, that's good. Click on save. So now we're done with one of these blocks. But what is a favorite actually? Well, if you have a blog, you maybe want to promote certain blog posts more than other, right? So people can search for what they want in the categories, but maybe you want to promote 3 blog posts. So the easiest thing to do this is just to create a new category, which you call favorites. And then when you have a blog post that you want to feature over here, you just check the favorites part. And then if we sort that list on the most recent one, then there can be more than 3 favorites, but the most recent ones will be on top. And if you don't like that, then you can also change the order because you can just change the dates. Or I will show you a way how to manually change the order of this post. So you will have full control of what 3 blog posts you can feature over here. And this will be the same for on the homepage, this 3 featured posts. So from a technical perspective, this one is not really different from the favorites one because it's just a category. For you, this is personal favorites, right? And maybe the featured posts, you want those posts to be maybe brand collaborations, right? So what we need to do right now is make a checkbox for featured as preparation for this part. And we need to make a checkbox for favorites so we can check blog posts and put them in the favorites. Okay, so let's just do that right now. I'm gonna go back to the backend of WordPress. So let's just open a new tab, go to our own website /wp-admin. You're gonna go to post and then categories. Then you can see our categories over here. So let's just add a new one. Favorites, slug, that will be auto-generated. Parents, no, it's not a parent. And just click on add. Okay, so now we have a favorites category and also a featured one. Okay, and also add that to the category. Now let's add 3 blog posts to the favorites so we can actually load those blog posts in. So we're gonna go to all posts. And then we need to go inside of these blog posts and add them to another category. But there's a faster way to do this because otherwise you would have to click on every edit and then you would go into the page. So if you click on quick edit over here, you can just add them to the favorites over here. So let's just add, well, not this one because we've used that a lot of times now right now. So the sushi one, I'm going to add that to the favorites. Okay. And the last one, I'm going to also add that to the favorites. Okay. So now I've selected 3 blog posts that I want as the favorites. So we can actually load these blog posts in. But there's one more thing that I want to show you before we're going to load those blog posts in. And that is an easy way to change the order of these blog posts. Because WordPress by default sorts the blog post on newest, right? So this one is the newest. You can check the date. If you click on edit, you can see that this one is 4th of April, 15:45. And this one is 2 minutes earlier. So this is the newest one. But if you want to manually change that, you can change the dates and all of that. But that is a lot of work. So there's an easy and simple plugin for this. So if you go to plugin, click on add new, and it's called post type order. So if you search for that plugin, you will see this one. Has 500,000 installs. It's rated very well. So it's very easy. Just activate it and then it will give you this error. Post types need to be configured. So go to the settings page. Okay, but we'll do that because the plugin wants to know which things you want to be able to order on the page. So for example, if you don't want to change the order of the media page, you can click on hide over here. Block, template, we don't also need that on this one. Font, we don't need it. Icon set, we don't need that. This should be good for now. So scroll down, click on save changes, and now it works. It gives me an error. I don't know what that is. Let's refresh it. Let's see if it's gone. Okay, now it's gone. So if you go back to posts, now you can see that my mouse has this 4 sides arrow. And now I can just drag the posts and give them another order. And this will also change the appearance. So let's just test that for now. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our sidebar because this is part of the sidebar. So we're going to go back to templates, saved templates. I'm going to open that in a new tab. Sidebar health. Okay, open that inside of Elementor. I'm going to zoom in again, so command 0. So I will be at 100%. Now we're going to scroll down and this part we need to change that. So click on the pencil over here for the post widget. And now we need to change this one from the classic one to the loop that we just created. So we're going to take another skin, the new skin, the small version. Okay, click on that. Now you will see our new design. And here you can see what I meant. Some titles are longer, so otherwise it would not be very nice in terms of design. So scroll down, put the column on 1 because we just want 1 column. And in here it looks very wide, but if you go to a mobile, that already looks no, it doesn't look good because we have not set up mobile. But maybe the tablet modus also doesn't look perfect. I'm gonna put that on 1. No, we have to set up the responsive mode. So let's just first go with the desktop mode and save this for now and see how that looks inside of a sidebar. So we're going to go to a normal page. So for example, the breakfast page, for example. So if we refresh, we should see a change in this sidebar. So I'm going to click on refresh and now you will see a change. So now it will show 6 blog posts because we've not set up the query, and also the spacing between this is a little bit too much. So let's go back to our sidebar. Okay, open the query because we need to tell Elementor that we only want to display the posts that have the favorites category. So if we go to post and then include them by the category, which is part of the terms, okay, and then term, we're going to call that favorites, categories, favorites. And we want a maximum of 3 posts in here. And that is what we can set up at the layout. Okay, so put that on 3. And also we're going to change the spacing because that was also not good. So go to rows gap and then maybe change this to 15, a little bit less spacing between the items. Maybe this is a little bit too small. We'll see. Click on update, go back to one of your normal pages. the breakfast page, click on refresh, and now let's see how this looks. Okay, so this is pretty nice. Still the title is a little bit lower, so we need to change this. And also for mobile, that didn't look very good. So let's go back to our template, not the big one, I'm sorry. We need to go to the smaller one, which is this one. So there's still a little bit of spacing, so we're gonna put that one back. I thought that it was gone, but it was not gone. So let's just put that on -10. Let's just test that for now. And also for mobile, go to responsive, click on mobile, and we also want to set this up at 30%, and then this one needs to be 70, because in this way, even on mobile, it will look good. Now we need a little bit of padding on the inside of this column, so click on the column, advanced, we're going to add padding on the left, so maybe 20. Now the title is really high. I don't know if this will work, but let's just test it because my prediction on the previous one was also wrong. So we're gonna go to tablet mode, also set up the width of the columns. So put this at 30 and also put this one at 70, like this. Okay, for some reason there's a lot of spacing on top of this one, which I do not understand. But let's just test how this looks. So we're gonna click on update. We're gonna go back to the breakfast page. And we're going to see on the desktop version if the title is too high. Yeah, it's a little bit too high. So I don't really understand why the title has this margin on the top. But this just happens sometimes because sometimes also a font can have a margin on the top. So sometimes it's not your fault, but the margin is implemented in the font in some way. So I'm going to put that at -5. That will be good enough for this font. Okay, let's just click on update one more time, go back, click on refresh and see how that looks. Okay, that looks pretty nice. Maybe a few more pixels, but for now this is pretty good. Okay, so this is pretty nice. And now let's check it on a mobile. So what I want to do is I want to go to a normal page like this. I'm going to refresh it and we're going to check mobile before we move on. Okay, now it looks like this on desktop. Let's go to tablet modus. That is not perfect because it's still 2 columns. So let's go back to our template. Go over here, go to tablet modus. Now you can see that it will show 2 blog posts. We don't want that, we just want 1. So go to content, scroll down and put this one at 1. Okay, click on update again. Go back to your breakfast post on tablet modus, click on refresh. And now we need to open the tablet modus again, because it will always go back to the desktop mode. And now this already looks a little bit better, but not perfect. So now I need to go back on here, go to tablet modus and fix this thing over here. So it's probably because of the padding on the inside of that column. So if we go to advanced, you can see that there's 20 on the top, which we don't need. We need 20 on the left. So now this should be fixed. So let's check mobile real quick, see how that looks. Okay, the title is a little bit too high, so I'm also gonna change that. -15, let's just delete that. Let's just also put it at -5 like we did on the other one. And also let's put this one on -5 so the read more has a little bit more room. Check the tablet one more time. That looks good for the room to the read more. Click on update again. And now we're gonna check it one more time on tablet modus. Go to desktop. That looks good. Now only the title here doesn't look good, so we need to change this one and go to mobile, and that also looks good. Okay guys, so we've achieved a lot in this episode, and now we are ready to build this featured block over here, which is a little different because with this one we have overlapping things over the image. So we need to use another method than here because this is an image widget. So here we're going to use with an image background and also a shadow, because as you can see, the text is not very readable if there's no shadow. So that's what we're going to do in the next episodes. So I'll see you there. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to create the featured loop or block, as I like to call it. And that is this one. It has a background image and it has most of the elements that we already have over here. So if we go back to WordPress, I have a lot of tabs. I've closed a lot of tabs, and the only ones that I have opened is the homepage, because this is part of the homepage. The homepage inside of Elementor. So you can go that over here or via the backend. And I also kept this one open, blog post landscape big, because we need to copy a lot of things from here. And what I've also opened is the theme builder. So if you open the dashboard, then I'm here in theme builder. And here we can see the two loops that we have created. So now we need to create a new loop and we need to have a new name for it. We're going to call it blog post featured. Really simple. So click on add new. I'm going to call it blog post featured and click on create a template. And there's one nice thing about this blog, and that is that it can almost be the same design on desktop, on mobile and on tablet, because it has no columns. So we don't need to play with the paddings and the margins as much as we did, for example, with this smaller one, right? So we only need to create it once, and then it will be already nice on mobile and tablet. Maybe the only thing that we need to change is the size of the title, for example, but most parts will stay the same. So I'm here in blog post featured, which is the new loop that I've created. And I also have the old one over here, and it has the items in here that we need. So what do we need? We need actually all the items except for the excerpts. So before I'm gonna copy all of this, I want to work with a clean one over here, because this is a different technique, because here the items are on top of an image. Like we've done with the header template, we've not just inserted the image widget. We have set up the image as a background for the column. That's what we did, instead of using the image widget. And if you set the image as a background, then you can use items on top of that image. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna create one big column like this. All right, I'm gonna give that a little bit of height. So let's just add a little bit of padding on the bottom. Let's just say 20 for now, and a lot of it on the top, so maybe 80. Okay, and then we need to set a background up. We can set up a background in this column, but we're going to use that column for these parts over here. So I'm going to set up a background at the main section instead of the column. So sorry if that was confusing in my explanation. Also for the header, we've set up the background image at the main section, not the column, so sorry. But the principle is the same. You can also set up a background image for a column, but in the header we've done that with the section. So we're also going to do that right now. So we're going to set up a background, click on style, go to background. Now we're going to use a dynamic background, which will be the featured image of a post. So go over here, click on featured image, and now you're done. Okay, set up the settings over here. Again, center, attachment, no, repeat, no repeat, size, cover, because then it will cover the whole image. Now let's add in a few items. So we're going to go back to our landscape. Let's just copy this one first. So copy the category, go back inside of the column, paste it. That's it. And we're going to do that with the title too. So right click on the title, copy, go back, left click on this one, right click, paste. Now you have a title. Okay, go back, excerpt, we don't need that. We only need this one. Left click on the pencil, right click, copy, go back, left click, right click, paste. So this should be good, but the title in this one is white, and also the read more. So first we're going to change that, and then you will also see why we need a shadow. So if you click on the title, go to style, text color, and put that on white. You can see that on this image it doesn't work at all. So we're going to also do that for the read more. Go to style, text color, and put that on white. You can see that this is not working at all. So that's why we need a background overlay for the image. So if you click on the section, we have the background over here, and we have the background overlay under it. So we're going to put a gradient in the background. If you click on gradients, which is from one color to another color, we can set up two colors over here. Now you don't see anything. So let's just click on here and put this on green, for example, because then you can really see what we're doing before we're going to change the colors to the exact colors that we want. And now the text is already a little bit more visible. So the bottom one needs to be dark, right? You can even set up the angle over here. So maybe if you want to go from left to right, you can also do that over here, but I'm going to put that at 180 because then it will go from the bottom to the top. This one needs to be the black version. So just pure black like this. And this one, going to put that on black first and then put the opacity on 0. And in this way, you will see that the text becomes visible, but the image is also still visible. You can set up the location for the first color and the second color. So if you want the bottom color to start at the title, for example, you can do that like this. But you can also do that with the top color. And in this way, you can show more of the image, for example, and you can make the bottom one a little bit darker. So let's just do that. I'm going to put this at 90 and this one at 25. That looks good. The opacity, you can change that, make it even darker if you want to. So let's just put it at 0.6. Okay, and we also need spacing on the inside of the column because we want more spacing from here to here. So we can do that in two ways. So we can add the spacing or the padding on the inside of the column, or we can do that on the section level. I like to do it on the section level. So let's just unlink this one, the padding over here. Go to advanced and unlink the padding. So now there will be no padding in here. Go to your main section and add padding on the inside of the main section. You can already see that there's 20 at the bottom. That is kind of what I want. Oh, it's here, it's 30. So I'm going to put 30 at the bottom. On the left, I also want to have 30, for example. So then the space from here to here will be the same as this space. Okay, and also don't forget it to add it on the right. Right now you don't need it, but if the title is too big, then you will also need padding over here. So also put that on 30. Okay, maybe we need to change this upper padding a little bit more. Oh, oops. But we will see how that works out when we start to work with real data. Okay, let's just click on publish. Okay, the last thing that I want to do is add more spacing at the bottom of this title because the spacing between the read more and the title is too narrow. So let's just go to the title, go to advanced and see what is happening over here. Let's just put this from -15 to -5. Maybe even fully delete it. No, -5 would be good for now. Okay, let's just test with this. We're going to click on publish, set the conditions to all the blog posts. So click on post, save it, and then in the next episode we will use this featured block on the homepage and we will check the responsive mode.